So we see here in Numbers 14 that the Israelites, they have decided to listen to the witness of the flesh. They have decided to listen to the spies and their witness that they cannot overcome the enemies in the promised land. They're going to the promised land to die. And we see that by falling into this temptation, now sin has entered them. And what happens is they rebel. They enter now into sin. They rebel against Moses. They rebel against God. And murder enters into them. They want to kill Moses because of this, what they deem a great injustice. In Numbers 16, we see that, again, a rebellion arises led by a guy named Korah, where a group of people from the Israelites, again, thought that Moses is wrong in what he is doing. There's injustice in the leadership, and they feel like they need to correct it in their own wisdom. And so they rebel against Moses. They rebel against what God has placed in him. And Moses again cries out. In Numbers 14, we see Moses, he meets with God, and God says, I'm going to destroy this people, and I'm going to make a new covenant with you. And the people that will come from you, Moses, will be greater and better. And Moses, he says to God this very interesting thing. He tells God, what will the Egyptians think? God, repent of this evil. God, turn away from what you're thinking of to do. And he intercedes for this people of Israel. The very people who hate his guts is the people he's interceding for. God says, I will destroy your enemies and I'll make you greater. But Moses refuses that, and he says, no, keep them, because they are supposed to go from here into the promised land. What I learned from this, reading this, is that when God calls, if God is calling you into ministry, a burden will be placed upon your heart. You will have an encounter with God, and from that encounter, a burden will be placed upon you for the people that God has desired you to minister to. If that burden is not there, you see, that burden was on Moses, but that burden was not on Miriam or Aaron. That burden was not on Korah. These people may have been fit from a physical sense, but spiritually there was no burden, meaning they would do it for the wrong reasons. What I learned is, if there is no burden on a leader's heart to lead the people, they will not be led the right way. They will be led into the flesh and not into the spirit. They will not be led into the promised land because the promised land has giants. They will be led somewhere else.